Hello, friends. I hope we're all comfortable. I have quite a story for you. Let's let's just get right into this one. I dated a neckbeard cell who fancied himself as Christian Grey. Part 1. Everything about that scares me. Let's fucking go. Hi everyone. I don't know how I have not come across this sub sooner. I've been reading it for a few days now, and so many of these tales remind me of my own encounter with a neckbeard. Probably more incel. So here goes. Oh, it's gonna be a long one. The year is 2018. I have freshly turned 25, gotten out of a long-term relationship. It wasn't healthy for either of us, and I was looking forward to start my new life as a single woman in the PNW. I spent a lot more time on Reddit at that point. Nothing dirty, but casual chat with a lot of people, as well as roleplay. I used to roleplay a lot. And now, with my new freedom, I was ready to pick it up again. Mostly stuck with anime, but at that point I'd ventured into Marvel and stuff like that. I don't want to brag, but I'm a pretty good roleplay partner. As my fellow RPers know, it can get hard to find a partner that matches your ability. After a few weeks of searching, I get a message on Kick, primitive I know, from who we shall call Christian. Christian and I plan out a few roleplay stories, our characters, etc., and get things going. Now, when I'm RPing, I like to get to know my partner. Every long-term RP partner I've ever had, we've become friends, and some I still talk to years later on a regular basis, long after the whole story has ended. I get to know Christian a bit, and looking back, I looked over so many disturbing red flags. The moment Christian and I started speaking, he made it known that he was a brain cancer survivor. I won't ever berate a person for speaking about their illness, but Christian made it very prominent part of his conversations. At the time, I just thought it was okay, he's going through something. It's not like it's a topic most people can relate to, so I listened and helped him as much as I could. Christian lived with his parents after losing his job when the company he worked for shut down. And due to him having surgery recently, he couldn't go back to work right away. That made sense. Christian was a programmer and managed to start his own small business. He didn't really make enough to live on his own yet, but enough to get by. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do, and I was happy that he had some sense of self-startership. I let Christian know that I was recently out of a long-term relationship, working full-time, university full-time, had friends and family nearby, and was a pretty active person, always on the go. We bonded over Magic the Gathering, Marvel, creature lore, art, nerd shit. Over the course of a few weeks, Christian started talking more depressed than usual. Just down on himself, his illness, which he seemed to be making a full recovery from, and his looks, and how no woman would ever love him. Long story short, his wife cheated on him and left him some time ago. I fell for that trap, telling him that he couldn't look that bad, and being someone who used to be pretty down about themselves on their looks, I related. Christian sent me a picture of himself. He was pale, thin, scruffy red beard. He didn't have the weight and the fedora of a regular neckbeard, but he was definitely geeky looking. Honestly, not attractive, but whatever, it's fine. I told him that he wasn't that bad looking, and he was still down on himself, and he asked me for a picture. So I sent one. Now that I'm older and have some maturity, I can say that I am very pretty and way out of his league, but after that pic was sent, the downfall started. I need to mention that Christian was 34 or 35 at the time. I don't remember exactly, so roughly 10 to 11 years older than me. Legal, but still too old for me to consider dating. But from then on, Christian proceeded to slowly and calculatingly guilt me into dating him. Some of the comments he made went like this. You're beautiful. I bet so many guys your age are interested in you, but that doesn't include me. If I were younger, I'd treat you like a guy should, but again, that's not a possibility. In another lifetime, we could have been together, but sadly, this is my reality. I'm a good man. I wish you'd give me a chance, but I won't pressure you. Oh, God. As much as we know about neckbeards from this channel, you guys can already see how bad this is. This is that horrible self-loathing technique that a lot of neckbeards try. It never fucking works. Now, I don't know 100% why I did it. I know partially it's because I had mostly negative male figures in my life. My dad was the greatest man of all time, but died when I was 6. Mom's also a good woman, but after Dad passed away, she fell hard and dated very abusive guys. That, on top of dealing with frequent verbal and sometimes sexual assault from the men in my mom's church. Jesus. I didn't really know how a good man was actually supposed to be. My ex wasn't bad, but he was a man-child, and that was ultimately the fall of our relationship. So against my better judgment, I caved in, started dating Christian, after a long, late-night conversation. I was excited in the moment, but my gut was churning for some reason I couldn't exactly identify. The only saving grace to this relationship was that Christian lived in another state, so it's an online relationship. Things went well for the first week or so. We talked most nights on video chat, started to get to know each other better. Then at some point, I mentioned I needed to get my hair recolored. At the time, my hair was white, not gray, but white as paper, and the upkeep was pretty frequent. I wanted to change a bit and go for a more steel gray, so I was going through colors online with Christian. Out of the blue, he just straight up told me, "The white isn't flattering against your skin color. You're too dark to pull it off. You need something more muted, darker." I thought he would end there, but the onslaught of demeaning remarks about my skin color and how I was, quote, too dark for X hair color, continued. Now, I'm black. I'm on the darker side. I consider myself fairly medium on the scale. I firmly believe anyone can do whatever they want with their hair. I second that. Whether you're as pale as ever or as dark as they can get, there's a hair color in every shade for everyone. And more importantly, do what makes you happy. I'm somewhat racially ambiguous, sometimes being mistaken for Indian or darker-toned Asian, but I've had my fair share of racist comments ranging from black, Indian, etc. And typically they don't bother me at all. But what Christian said really struck me. It wasn't just a racist comment, it was a full-on pummeling about me being too dark for a thing. I never cry, especially in front of a man. But I was now full-on sobbing on the Skype call. Just what the fuck was this guy thinking? He looked shocked and asked me what was wrong, and I asked him why on earth he would say such a horrible thing to me. And he came back with what would be his trademark response when he said cutthroat things. "I didn't mean it that way, you just misunderstood me." And somehow, he became the victim. And for some reason, somehow, I felt as a misunderstanding, he then showed me the hair colors and styles he deemed appropriate for my skin tone. They were all various shades of red from unnatural to natural. Thankfully, I chose not to do red. I had a red face. I was done with it by then. And I later learned that he has a fetish for redheads. Imagine that. Eventually, Christian comes to visit me for the first time. It lasted about a week. I have to say, it was fairly uneventful. It was actually alright. Went to a couple events, had a nice dinner at a restaurant. It was all fun and games until he had to leave for home. At the time, I lived about 2 hours from the airport, and to get him there, we agreed on a set time to leave, as you do. I get up at my said time, do a few things around the house, and get ready. Christian is not to be seen. He's still asleep. I go and get him, and he snaps at me, hard. I don't remember exactly the exchange, but I do remember him calling me a, quote, nagging bitch. Fucking classy. And him saying he knows what he's doing, and lays back down. I didn't have any other plans that day. It's final, so fine by me, miss your fucking flight. I go to my computer, do some classwork. Roughly an hour and a half later, he is getting around to packing up his things. I know that the plane is going to be long gone before we get to the airport, but I go anyway. Maybe he can book another flight for later. The drive wasn't too bad, and we get there well after the plane is gone, but Christian does his best. I drive off to go get lunch in the city, maybe hit up one of the comic book shops that I like, and then get home for more classwork. I find the one free parking garage at the airport to get my bearings and look up a few places to go. Make a phone call, check some notes in my school app, when the phone rings. It's Christian. I think we can all predict how this call went. You come get me, I missed my flight. The worst part was how upset and shocked he was. If I couldn't hold my tongue, I would have laughed out loud. He said they could put him on another flight in about 5 hours. Alright, no biggie. I spent an overnight in airports before, but he didn't want to wait. He wanted me to come get him. Now I'm exhausted, starving, and just ready to go on about my day. I had an assignment that I really needed to finish and wanted to go home and get on that. I let him know that I had work to do, and his response was, "Well, shouldn't you have brought your laptop? This is kind of on you." What the fuck? How is this on me? I was still at the airport, but why couldn't this grown-ass man just sit and wait for his next flight? For some reason, I agreed, and we went to get lunch together and just talked and walked around some of the areas of the city. I cannot describe how painful it was. I just wanted him out of my still white hair. Even if I couldn't admit it to myself at the time, this time he was perfectly pleasant at least, and then he dropped the dumbest comment. "I guess next time we should just have you do the planning for the airport, huh? I was a little off of my time." I could have slapped this man. I just blinked at him, not believing the dumb shit that he just spat out. Are you fucking kidding me? First, I'm bad at scheduling, even though we would have been there on time if we left the time that I originally said. But now it's not my fault he made a little blip on scheduling? Whatever. I take him back to the airport on time, and thankfully off he goes. I think that's enough for this installment. I have at least one more, possibly two, I can go through. He doesn't seem very neckbeardy/incel yet, but trust me, we'll get to that. As to why we're calling him Christian Grey, oh boy. Oh, wow. What the fuck? The arrogance of this dude. The horrible, like, negative attitude, the manipulation, the fucking bullshit. "Oh, I missed my flight. Oh, it's your fault. Oh, it's just..." Oh my god, I've known neckbeards like this, and they're infuriating. It's always a statement and then the immediate negative thing, and if you contradict them or you point out that they're just being assholes, they fly off the fucking handle and start screaming at you. This is far too common. I have seen this a lot. There's always like, "Oh, I guess I really wanted to play this game, but I guess it'll never happen." I usually refer to them as Eeyores, because that's kind of who they sound like. Except Eeyore usually has like a legitimate reason to be kind of depressed. So, yeah. Oh, wow. I cannot wait to find out what else happens in this. I need to know why he thinks he's Christian Grey or whatever. I must know. I must. Also, white hair sounds really fucking cool, dude. That's awesome. I hope you have an even more awesome color now. Just, fuck it, man. You can look whatever you want. It's your fucking life. You can look however the fuck you want. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Seriously. Anyway, I love you all so very much. Thank you for being here with me. I hope you enjoyed this story. If you did, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And there's a description box with all kinds of links and stuff down there. I am gesturing wildly as if you can fucking see me. I don't know why I'm doing that. Do all the things. Do them all because they're awesome, and I love you all, and I'll see you in the next episode. Okay, I'm gonna go read some more shit. I'll see you guys later. Okay, bye.